My next guest, R&B legend Tank, faced every musician's worst nightmare, honestly, any person's nightmare. He unexpectedly started to lose his hearing. Fans were devastated when the Grammy-nominated singer revealed he was diagnosed with sudden sensory neural hearing loss, which left him totally deaf in his right ear. But like all of the guests today, Tank would not let this obstacle prevent him from fulfilling his destiny. His 10th and final album, R&B Money, was released last month. Please welcome the man y'all are swooning over in that picture, Tank! Welcome. Welcome. I think they expected you to walk out with no shirt on.
You know what? I can try it again if you no. You should.
I mean, I'm sure all the love feels so good because you've been through a lot.
It's been a lot. It's
Yeah.
been a lot. And, out of nowhere a lot.
Yeah.
I think you kind of, some obstacles you can see coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, the things that I've been through medically have just been completely unforeseen.
Tell me how this all started. When did you first, what alerted you that something wasn't right?
I thought I had swimmer's ear for like a couple days. And, one day I'm walking back from the gym and the earth just starts shaking and I literally almost fall through a CVS window. And luckily the hotel's only a block away, so I get to my hotel and I'm like, something's wrong.
Did you think, okay, well, maybe I worked out too much,
Yeah.
I'm not hydrated?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the blood's not flowing the right way, I'll be cool, you know what I mean?
And generally your health, I mean, I've seen your workout videos, generally you were in good health.
I'm in good condition, I'm in great shape.
Yeah.
And, it turned into like a tinnitus kind of thing where it just started sounding like a transistor radio. Everything sounded like it was going through a walkie-talkie. And it just progressed from there. And so,
How long did you let it progress? Because I know a lot of times you start to feel something and then you worry about, okay, I don't want to go to the doctor because do I really want to know what this is? I'm hoping it will just go away. Was there this?
Well, I was on my last day of filming, so I was like, maybe if I can just get on a plane and get back home, I can get to my doctor and figure it out. And what it was kind of feeling like or sounding like was like a sinus infection mixed with a bunch of other things that you probably don't want to get on the plane with.
Right.
So a good friend Turk, he took me to his doctor in Silver Springs, and they just, kind of lightly diagnosed me. And
what was the original diagnosis?
I think if everybody thought it was something temporary.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just a temporary, maybe an eardrum thing or something, maybe some slight nerve damage. We hadn't quite graduated to what it became.
When they first told you, okay, it's temporary, I'm sure you thought, okay, we'll get on. Did they give you prescription or anything?
Yeah, they started me with the prednisone, which isn't really that great for your body. And then there was another medicine for the vertigo.
Right.
So immediately I have vertigo and I'm losing hearing in both ears. When I finally get back to LA, it's getting progressively worse. And so they kind of...
And progressively worse is that
I'm
not hearing anything.
Completely losing my hearing in my right ear. This one is kind of halfway and I'm like, what's going on? And so it starts to get extreme. We start doing hyperbaric chambers and then we start getting injections in the eardrum. And, the prednisone goes from low levels to 60 milligrams a day.
And this was a steroid that was being used to treat you.
Yeah, the steroid is meant to give the nerve, more power,
Right.
but, it's hurting everything else. And so, I go from this, this guy who can take his shirt off and all of these cool things to, a shell of myself. You know what I mean?
So the cure was turning into a problem as well. What they believed was the cure to this was also now hurting your body.
Well, there is no cure. So what they think will help, you know what I mean? Because there's no cause. I was like, how did this happen?
So this
We
is
don't
not
know how this
genetic.
happened.
They don't know.
They don't know. And so there is no cure. There's like, we're going to throw these things at it and see what happens. And finally, my doctor was just like, man, we're going to pull all of this stuff before it hurts you even more. And by this point, I'm completely out of it. I'm completely depressed. And I think it was the first time in my life that I was, down mentally, spiritually, and physically all at the same time. So it took a lot of digging, you know what I mean? And a lot of help. I think that sometimes we're afraid to ask for help. We can't do it all on our own. And I just started, it started with me physically because I'm an athlete first.
Yeah.
And one of my guys, John Gaines, thank God for him. I said, man, listen, I just need to get back in shape. I just need to get back competitive. Let's start there.
Where did it leave you though with the music? I know physically your health is the most important thing, but your voice is your gift.
Yes.
I mean, it is why you are known worldwide.
Yes.
So now a musician who can't
hear. Yeah. So, it's scary because, I believe in all of my being that I was created to sing. I was born to sing. That is my design in this universe. And I'm asking the creator of all things to take from me. Like, why that? Why the thing I need the most? I need to be able to hear it. And I don't know. I don't ever want anybody to feel that defeated in their existence, because that's why I'm here. That's why I was born. That's why God made me. And to feel like that was being taken away from me just kind of rocked my world completely.
It rocked your world. But what we know is through self-determination, through faith, through friends, you are singing. You're going to sing for us later. But first, how did Tank return to the stage? Over 20 years in the music industry. He has a new album. What did it take to get to this point? After the break. Today we are talking to people who had to use discipline to overcome unexpected hurdles in order to fulfill their destiny, like our guest today, Tank, who had to battle his way back to making music after an illness caused him to lose hearing in his right ear. Tank, for perspective, for people to understand, this is all still new. This was a diagnosis in 2021.
Yes.
And
so, yeah.
So in a short period of time, you had to grieve, you had to deal with reality. We were talking in the commercial break. We all know that health is fleeting, but when it happens so suddenly.
Yeah, it really puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
And so then you really start to measure time differently.
Yeah.
Because, you just don't know how much time you have left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From a health standpoint. And so if in 3 days, my life completely changes and I'm gone from 2 ears to 1, then what can happen in the next 3 days?
Wow.
And so it pushes you to say, the work that I thought I had time to do or that I could delay on, or, sometimes we unconsciously procrastinate.
Yeah.
It's time to get on the ball.
It reminded me of that song, Bonnie Raitt, Scared to Run Out of Time. Were you scared to run out of time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's completely. And people are like, did the hearing loss, did it change, everything for you? And I don't want to say that it was a defeat in a sense, because, I'm never the one to lay in the loss. I'm really one who learns in the loss. And so what it taught me is that, every day is precious, and every day push to be better. Every day push to whatever that legacy is defined for you to continue to build that, the next step at a time. And so now I'm just doing more.
When you got back in the studio, once you've gone through the work, and this is a short period of time where you have to reset, and you're back in the studio, but you have no hearing in your right ear. What was that like?
It was weird, because normally you have this ear on to hear what's filtering through, and then you have this ear to hear what's actually happening. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't have that.
Could you find tone and pitch?
I was learning to.
Wow.
So now it's trying to process everything just in one ear. And so I'm kind of counting on my guy Trav. I'm looking at him like, hey man, how do I sound? He's like, you sound like you. I said, are you sure? Because I don't know if I sound like me. And then getting back on stage was completely odd as well, because I have vertigo and I only have one ear, and I'm trying to process the band and me, myself,
How
and
did
all
you
of these
not
things.
just say, let me just go back. I'll write. I won't sing, I'll write.
I love every part of what I do. I love it too much, and so you know.
Did you? So you're back on stage. Were there exercises that you had to do with it? What was the work beyond the God-given talent? What was the work that you had to put in?
I mean, the work was getting in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The work was getting back on stage. The work was getting back in the studio, and making and finding those adjustments, and learning how to work from this space.
You've always known, I can tell from your personality, that you consider yourself a strong person. I can feel that, I see that. Did you know you were this strong?
This was the test of my life.
Test of your life.
For sure. This was the test of my life.
Have you passed it?
I mean, I always feel like there's more to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So then why are you, what is this I'm hearing about retiring?
Well, from making albums.
From making albums.
You know what I mean? I'm retiring from making albums because I think the album process for me, I've done that. We're 10 in, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think people know I can make albums.
Yeah.
We got that. But like I said, those other things that I really want to do, building the R&B label, you know what I mean? And grabbing the next generation of R&B artists, singers, songwriters, producers, giving them the game, giving them any opportunity at 22 plus years like somebody gave me.
Right.
Wanting to do more acting, you know what I mean? I don't know
Yeah.
if you can tell, but I kind of look like Denzel. So you know, so, you know, there's that, and then stand up. You know, I do a lot of stand up, which I love to do, and so it's just wanting to get to so many other things that have always been goals of mine. But being on stage and dousing myself with baby oil and taking my shirt off has just completely it just took a lot of time, and so I need that time.
Well, you've given us so much today to think about and to be inspired.